Welcome to the Serious Shift Blogcast. We have only one question. What does Serious Shift mean to you? To answer that and much more, here's your host, Dennis Moseley-Williams.
Hi, I'm Dennis, and welcome back one more time to the Serious Shift Blogcast. It's really nice to have some attention with you. I hope wherever you are, you're well. I'm heading off this week to speak at conferences in Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, and Toronto. Of course, I will be talking about the experience economy, but more specifically this week, I'm going to be talking about time. What I have identified, and I comment on and I share, and I guess my question for you is, are you making this mistake? We say in the experience economy that time is the currency of experience, that we pay for experience with time. But what I see over and over and over again is that people mistake making things easier and quicker and convenient as an experience. We've invented this great software. It's easier for you. It's faster. What a great experience. And I'm saying, no, that's not. That's a better service. When you go to the airport and you check in at the self-service kiosk, do you think to yourself, oh, what a wonderful experience? I really should pay more for this? No. It might be easier. They might be eliminating a line, but they're also asking you to do it. You're not thinking, oh, this is fantastic. I want to do this every day. What you're wondering is, why am I doing this for them? Shouldn't they be doing this for me? Isn't this what I'm paying for? Service is saving time. Experience is creating time well spent. And what we say all the time is, experience, time is the currency of experience. Experience is time well designed. So how does this apply to financial planning? Well, enter this article that Michael Kitts has posted the other day. It's somebody's podcast. It's called The Signal versus Noise Rework Podcast. I love it. I got exposed to it last week. I've read a whole bunch of the guy's things. I love it. This is written by a fellow named Jason Fried, and it published on November 5th, 2019, so pretty fresh. Okay, so what he talks about here is he talks about seeing a therapist. And of course, just substitute therapist for financial planner. He says he recently started seeing a therapist and that this person does things differently. They use time differently. Instead of meeting once a week for 60 minutes, they meet every 6 weeks for 6 hours straight. Okay? So they're able to go deep. There's a lot more talking, there's a lot more sharing, there's a lot more reflecting, there's a lot more learned. And then between the appointments, there's a 6-week break. So there's a lot more time to reflect on what was discovered and implement it. In effect, you get a larger sample size to come back after 6 weeks for another in-depth session to say, holy cow, this is what I learned. Now, in full disclosure, I've never been to therapy. So some of the benefits of this, I'm imagining. I'm just thinking, and Jason Fried does confirm here in his piece. He says, well, when you've only got an hour, you spend a little bit of time just getting to what you want to talk about, right? But when you have 6 hours, you can go much deeper. You can discover things and go exploring. So I kind of like that. Now, the downside, if there is one, to the therapist is that the therapist doing this kind of work can't work with as many clients, can't work with as many patients, and therefore has to charge the patients more. The patients are more out of pocket to be a patient. But the other part there is that in any business, there's a certain security that comes with being as appealing to as big a market as possible, to people that just quote unquote, want the 1 hour session. They don't want anything different, etc. But that's not what I'm about. That's not what this blogcast is about, and I don't think that's what you're about either. You wouldn't be watching this. Instead, I want to look at this and say, hey, wait a second. What does this tell me about what we could be doing? If you're a financial advisor, what does it look like if your review meeting, a standard 1 hour professional appointment, became a several hour review meeting, or even a retreat, a symposium, where you get a group of people together and you share this amazing experience, this journey, this discovery over, let's say, 24 or even, 36 hours, 72 hours, something like that. What would that be like? What does that look like? In my talks, I talk about the realms of experience: education, entertainment, escapism, aesthetic. Okay? And I'm thinking about how hard that is to do in a traditional 1 hour meeting. And I'm also thinking about commoditization, right? Commoditization. you can say, no, I'm a fee for service advisor, which is currently I'm charging, let's say 1% on my assets under management for my services, and all the price of the investments are, et cetera, just sort of subsumed up into this 1% fee. Okay, but you're still being commoditized because ultimately you are charging, a fee on assets under management, and it breaks down to how many hours you're willing to spend with the client. Whereas if you look at it my way, which is to say, no, what if you really looked at this experience as time well designed? It's about enhancing time. It's about making it time well spent and not time well saved. Then you take a look and say, like, what does a retreat look like? What's that worth to the client? How do you commoditize that? And the answer is you don't, because you're no longer charging 1% for services. What you're charging now is a premium fee for guided transformation. I don't just do review meetings. I do review retreats. I don't just manage wealth. I coach my clients to better understand and live with prosperity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyhow, all of this is to say, this article that Michael sent along I thought was fantastic. Yes, it's about therapy, but there's a lot of parallels between therapy and managing a patient as to the financial service industry and managing a client, particularly with time well spent, time well saved, etc., and the difference between service and experience. So please take a look. As always, thanks so much for indulging me and paying attention to this little blog. I appreciate it. Wherever you are, have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you again. Take care. May the shift be with you.
We hope you enjoyed the Serious Shift Blogcast. We would love any suggestions, feedback on topics, ideas, or challenges that may have you feeling stuck. Also, please leave a 5-star review wherever you are enjoying this content. It helps Dennis out tremendously. One last thing, if you would like to take your game to the next level, go visit SeriousShift.com and download for free our latest white paper. It will seriously begin to help you shift. On behalf of Dennis and the team, see you next episode.